Welcome to Jamlish, real talk with a little bit of Labrish. Real talk, you know. But panelists, you know, look good, you know. We look like we are one mother and father.
Jamlish every
true. We matching thing, you know.
Represent the t-shirt, represent the crew, represent the crew.
Yes, well done. So viewers and subscribers, remember to
like, share, comment, subscribe, and press that little notification button.
Yes, man, because without, you know, we don't have nobody to talk to. So remember, do all of them things there. And we welcome your views and your comments. So,
important, yes.
yeah, go ahead and tell us something you want to talk about, anything at all. Just, you know, link with.
That's
right.
Jamlish not hard to find, you know. Say that.
Jamlish not hard to find, you know.
You know, from being a dead fit to that, but we say we do it after family. We don't see Marley could say. We can't run to the 1051, you see.
Anyway, right. Mish, say a thing for the audience now.
Yes, hello, everyone. Hello. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you. Real talk with a little bit of love.
Yes, man. Jojo.
Hello. Welcome to Jamlish. Sit back and enjoy the ride.
Nice. Vera. Nice looking afro on your head there. Say something for the audience.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, viewers. I'm back again. Fro as well. I'm back again. Nice. Enjoy.
Simeon T, do a thing.
Welcome back to a different chat. I'm glad to see you come back. Jamlish, real talk with a little bit of Labrish.
Barry Dan.
Yes, Barry Dan there. Jamlish there with the woolly t-shirt. You know, the crew there. Jamlish there. So cutie, right? Yeah.
Nearly broke me
Humble RT, say a thing.
Thank you. Welcome to the world, Jamlish. By the people, for the people. Sit back and relax and enjoy the ride.
Luscious Pamela.
Hello, hola, all the way from España. Welcome to Jamlish. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Good to see you now again.
Right. So today, viewers, we have a serious topic to talk about. One that is long overdue. So today's topic is about the Windrush Generation. There will be plays, interviews, and debates in this episode. Whilst researching the topic, I came up with something from Google, a short summary. It says, in 1948, Britain was recovering from the devastation of the Second World War. They were facing desperate labor and housing shortages. So they invited and enticed people from Jamaica, Bermuda, Trinidad, and British Guyana to rebuild, you know, Britain.
You see, after World War II and Britain and the Commonwealth, you know, formed the Commonwealth immigrants, the British government, you know, sort of attracting the Caribbeans, you know, to come to this country, yeah, to work. And also it was about prosperity and employment and getting on in life. So basically, the rationale behind their coming to the UK was to seek a better life. And that's one thing we must not forget, you know, with the Windrush generation. It was to leave their country to come to our country or to the UK, yeah, for prosperity. That was the fundamental part. And as you said, the invitation.
Once they were crossing the Atlantic, the 1948 British Nationality Act granted all Commonwealth countries citizenship before they actually entered here. And another thing, the ship that carried the Windrush Generation was originally known as Monte Rosa. It was a German cruise ship in the 1930s, which was owned and operated by the German shipping line. This ship was taken by the British government as a prize of war and renamed the Empire Windrush. All right, I wrote this poem. It's entitled The Windrush Song. It was in 1948 when people from the Caribbean was invited to the cold land of England. They left with their little grip, leaving families, sun, sea, and sand behind for 28 days on a ship. Yes, the Windrush Empire that rocked from side to side on huge waves.
How did you find out about the prospect of coming to England from Jamaica? How did you find out about it?
Well, the district where I come from is St. Anne, a district called Bamboo. We were there, well, my two sisters were the two first ones that came over here first. And they were living in Kingston. And then afterward, my brother came. And then we were getting letters, you know, from England, come over. They didn't tell us anything about coal or anything. So anyway, my mother get in touch with my sisters over here and said, she asked me first if I wanted to come over. I said I wouldn't mind go over to England. And she get in touch with my sister, the one in London, and she agreed to take me over because you have to have somebody.
Well, I've always heard about England because I've got family here. And my sister and brothers was living in Ipswich, Suffolk. So they actually sent for me.
Wow.
1966.
1966.
5th of August, 1966.
What year you come here?
1961.
1961.
Yeah.
And where you come by? Boat or plane?
Boat.
A boat to come by?
Yeah.
In 1961.
Yeah.
So how you did get to come across now? Is who tell you about England?
My brother was here before me.
And come here before you?
Yeah.
Okay. How long you come here before you?
And come 54 in there and come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So him sent for you?
No.
Okay. No, talk.
Me,
Yeah, tell me the story, cause
me
4
want
minutes
my
now.
money and save it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do carpenter work.
Yeah.
And I save my money and save it and come up.
So, when did you come over to England?
1961.
1969. And you, Dad?
1960.
1960. And how did you get here?
By plane.
My dad paid £75 on BOAC. Don't know what that is.
Oh.
That's the way I came as well. I came on BOC. I'll leave from what's the airport name again now? They changed the name now.
Manly. Kingston.
It was Manly then. They changed the name to Manly, but it was
Palisadoes
Airport.
Oh, okay. And did you intend to stay?
Not
5 years.
For 5 years? Oh. How did you intend to stay?
I'm probably saying 5 years.
5 years. And look what happened.
50 plus years later.
Stayed with my aunt in London.
All appeared to be merry when the ship docked at Tilbury Harbour. setting foot on the so-called motherland. Looking around was only dark gray, smoke rushing out of chimneys that appeared to be factories. And so the journey began, hoping to build a future to return home in 5 years' time.
What year was that?
In 1960, it was October.
1960, October. Was it cold?
Yeah, it was cold because it was cold when it came over, and it was 75 pounds to come over.
75 pounds by plane.
So when you don't just wear jeans and things on the plane when you're going on plane like they do now, just go on plane with round sack on your shoulder. You used to come all push up. You have to have on your best dress, gloves, and your best everything.
Wow.
Nice when you're coming over.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and at that time, first I didn't put in this. I didn't have a jacket or anything. I just come.
Oh.
And my sister came to meet me. She came with a little jacket. It was a lovely little jacket. And she gave it to me. I wear it so till it just strung out. I love that little jacket so much. Yeah. And she came to Victoria to meet me.
So when you reach here now, who meet you?
Nobody come and meet me. I didn't expect that I was coming that quick.
Yeah.
No. And when I reached Southampton, a guy driving a van and picking up people, drop them off. And he said to me that if I buy my train ticket yet, I said, yeah. He said, no, what we'll do, in reach Birmingham before the train reach there, and he will go and change the ticket after I put me off. When I come to 12 Windrush Road, him running at it, him knock at the door and him go in, and him said, me owe him £8. And I said, what for? I said, no, go and change the ticket. And you said you can get a ticket change before the train reach Birmingham. And I didn't pay you. But you'll be getting double paid.
I try to use him at Panya.
All right, that was a famous time in England, 1966, because we won the World Cup, didn't we?
And that year,
yes,
I think the government white paper came out.
Really?
Because if you were over 16, which I was over 16, I was 17 going up 18.
Mm-hmm.
My sister, she had to get a work permit.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was under 16, then she didn't have to get a work permit. But that year, the government white paper changed.
Okay.
So she had to get a work permit to get me here.
Okay.
And at the time, Yorkshire was very upper class in Harrogate, which it still is. But there wasn't a lot of black people. And they used to look at you when you go out as if it's
What are you doing here?
Oh,
You should be here.
Yeah.
So you had racism?
No, there was a racism. Because one of the patients had spent a weekend with her, my friend and myself, she invited to our house, just outside Leeds, lovely house. Anyway, one incident, went to the doctor's surgery with my friend, and we were sitting there and this little boy came in with his mom. And he said to his mom, Mom, there's 2 gollywogs sitting over there. Mind you, that was 1961. 62.
But instead, hard times were up ahead. It was only the miracle from God above kept our heads above water. Finding a place to rest our heads was like gold dust. For in this gloomy land, no Irish, no blacks, no dogs could not find a place to lay our heads in this motherland.
Who did you leave behind in Jamaica?
I left my mom and all my nieces and nephews. I was the only girl but left. After my 2 sisters come away, I was the only girl that left. And getting bigger, and I left school. And after I left school, the only thing I can do is just sewing or things like that. So there's not much work or anything in the district.
Oh, right. So that's why you came
So
over.
how
Did you feel? So what was your expectation?
Well, I was excited, I was excited because I'm really from a big family. My parents had 13 of us, 13 children. So coming here, it was a great thing for me.
Okay.
But you see, at them time now, you have the teddy boy and them. You never have no trouble with the teddy boy then?
No, I have no trouble with nobody.
But you obviously hear about the teddy boy them, innit?
When you after that, the teddy boy them coming in.
So then come after you?
Yeah.
Okay.
After that.
Come here about all, no, what you go? No Irish, no blacks, no dogs.
Yeah.
So did you feel welcome when you come here?
I was welcome. I was all right.
When you go to everybody, did you welcome?
Yeah, man.
What how you get with murder?
I make friends with everybody who we meet as black people.
So the white people never show you nothing?
The white people, them never against me neither.
So when you
in
start...
Yorkshire for about 5 years.
Oh.
I went to London.
Yeah.
Then came back to Birmingham. I didn't meet a lot of racism, I can say, personally.
Did you that? When you
Not
first
really,
come?
no.
No, personally I didn't.
Did you have any issues when you came over? No problems? Getting
No,
a house in as well?
when I was going to night school and people were staring because I was only black in the class.
Yeah.
People were staring at night. Yeah.
But you didn't have any...
But not, I didn't expect to. Yeah, it was like a culture shock when I come to see how it was cold to start with. And then when we came to the house, there was smoke coming through the house chimney. And I think, oh, there's a lot of factory here. There's a lot of work.
Lots of jobs.
But anyway, when I came to London now, in the house that my sister lived at the time, we were going through a little track to go to the house. I thought, where are you going through this little track? Go to the toilet. She said, no, just take it to the inside the house. So I go to a little track to a little side door, go in the house. And everything was so clustered because the house is so, just a narrow passage to go through. You go up the stairs and get to my sister's room. Yeah, it was just rooms.
So
the hours of work were long and hard to earn peanuts to pay our bills and raise a family. Some of us had to send our children back home to be raised by other members of our families. As life got harder each passing day, we had to rely on the good old partner and juggling jobs to get by. Life became so uncertain as racism escalated and attacks became more prominent.
Brilliant.
Because I had to do 6 months a work permit.
Yes.
My sister got me a job where she worked in the factory, so I had to do 6 months. And if I didn't carry out the 6 months work, they would send me back.
Send you back where?
To home, send me back to the West Indies.
Oh.
So I had to do the 6 months work permit here.
So when you start work then now?
And I start work right beside the TSP bank. And I've been there working. And a contractor man come there, come see me working. And I didn't know him. And he said to the foreman, can I borrow that man off you? He said, what for? He said, yes, he can work. And he asked me to cut on a roof for him, the contractor. And I cut on the roof for him. And I saw one Sunday. And he paid me. And he said he want me to work with him. I said, you got to see my gaffer. I can't tell you yes. And my gaffer tell me must go with him. Named Price Brothers.
Okay. And if would you say that coming over from Nevis and people coming over from the Caribbean, do you think they help to build the UK, build the country?
Oh yes.
In what way?
Well, a lot of jobs here, the English people, or what you call them, white, they didn't really want to get involved especially nursing.
Right.
When you go into the hospital, it's more black nurses.
Really?
Than white nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Windrush Generation was thrown into prison because they defended themselves. Many years passed before we could own a spot on the British soil.
And it was nice at
How
all.
were you treated by the patients? Were they?
Some were quiet, but some were very nice. You know, they didn't want black people to touch them, and you know.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they weren't nice at all. Some was well.
Okay, so a question I know. Do you think Jamaicans, Windrush people, them when them come here, them change Britain?
Yeah, a lot.
Or you would have said them change it?
A lot. Why them don't, through them are white.
Yeah.
Them don't want to see we black people.
Okay.
Amongst them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Working through sleepless nights, blood, sweat, and tears. 73 years passed with not a lot have changed. Although we have managed to take root in this land, making our marks and build a variety of foundations. And so we have been through a wretched journey to allow our generations to reap some of our hardship.
They clean, when they wash up dishes, they just wash it in the soapy water and put it down. We told them to wash the dish and rinse the dish. You know, so all those we bring to England and show them to wash and rinse the dishes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's lots of
Just wash it in
changes.
soapy water.
Yeah.
And I remember I was working at the hospital. Everybody have diarrhea on the ward. They have to close on that ward because they have, these people wash up the dishes and they don't rinse dishes. So the patient did have diarrhea from dirt.
You would have wished to stay in Jamaica?
I wish I did because, you know, it's
I don't know. Jamaica doesn't like to be living there now anyway.
If you had your life all over again, would you come back to? Would you travel to the UK from Nevis, or would you stay? You wouldn't.
No.
Why?
Because when I reached 16, in the back West Indies, when you get to 7 standards,
Yes.
you do a 7 standard exam.
Yes.
Which you get a certificate.
Yes.
When you're 16.
Yes.
And you can start to do your nursing or a teacher. You become a teacher or nursing.
So what did you want to do?
I always wanted to be a nurse.
Okay.
So if I was if my sister didn't send for me,
yes,
I would be doing nursing or be a teacher at home.
All right.
Because
okay.
once you got that 7 standard certificate,
yes,
it was equivalent to like O level here.
Okay.
And you just go straight into nursing or teaching.
Be the stronger ones, my dear, to make our blood, sweat, and tears be remembered. This, my song of the Windrush Generation. In 2013, some of our people was deported, their documents were destroyed, and assets taken. The danger is, some of us being deported was born and raised in the so-called motherland. Continuous hardship is still ahead. Oh, what can we do to please this nation? This a dilemma seems to follow.
Respect in the VS.
So, going through all those researches and the interviews and so on that we've had with some of the Windrush generation, I've got a couple of questions to ask us. And the first one is, how do you feel at this time after watching the interviews from the Windrush generation? Mish?
So how do I feel you're asking?
Yes.
I feel that they've been robbed. That's how I feel. From the research that I've read and you know, things that I've studied around the Windrush, I do feel that there's a discrepancy in terms of their future, how their future was supposed to pan out. So I do feel they were being robbed of, you know, basically their livelihood, you know what I mean? Because, you know, if that was the case, if they knew that was going to be the case when they came here, that, you know, things wasn't going to work out because of, and we will explore those things. I feel they've been robbed.
I agree. Jojo, anything?
I feel they were robbed as well. They came from high positions, some of them, very high positions, and came here and became third-class citizens, basically. When you look back on the treatment of them, it was awful. It was terrible. And so their only way forward was to just get on with it. Because for a lot of them, it would be embarrassing to send back home and say, this is not the place that we thought it was. A lot of them came over here and were expected to work and send money home and help to support mommy, daddy, children, grandma, you know, and so they did what they could.
You see, but you know, but sending like money back home back in those times was like, it was horrible because they could only send money to their parents and it couldn't be more than £50. And if they send money to anybody else, a brother, a sister, or somebody, then they would get pulled up about it. The money would return to them and they would get pulled up about it.
Never know the
I
limit.
didn't know restrictions were
Yeah,
placed
there
upon
was,
that.
yeah, it could only be your parents. So, Vera, anything on that question?
Well, I feel that, you know, this word robbed, I feel that some of them felt a bit cheated. But however, I was involved in some of the interviews, and I'd like to thank the people that took part in the interviews because, you know, it took a lot for them to come out and be open about things. Some of the people that were interviewing, I felt that they had more to say. In fact, they said more to me off screen. They didn't want to say it on screen.
They were muzzled, basically.
Well, we were interviewed. They were very resistant to saying what it was really like for them.
Yeah.
But when the camera stopped, it was, oh, you know, the white people were treated better. You know, we didn't get up. We weren't allowed to, you know, be promoted in certain jobs. And I really wished for that person to say that on screen. But unfortunately, and then when I said to her, why didn't you say that on screen so that the public could hear that? She said, oh, no, I did. No, it's all right. So it's almost like a pretense. It's almost like, I don't know, form of brainwashing. I don't know. I really was willing for some of the people that I interviewed to say what it was really like for them, because it was devastating for some people. They left their children, they left family members, they came over to a country, and again, the couple of people that I interviewed, they came in the winter, and they only had little light jackets on. I don't know, I think they expected to come from a very hot country to another hot country, I don't know. And it was definitely sad for some of the people that I interviewed.
No, I think that when you're saying that they don't want to speak, I think for some of them, they still have the scars of the repercussions of when they first arrived, and they just, they just didn't want to cause any problems because of the repercussions, because they were so severe. And still to this day, we are punished more than our non-Black counterparts. And I think for some of them, the scars are still there, so they want to speak, but it's still instilled in them that, just get on with it and don't cause any trouble, don't rock the boat, because you've got people depending on you overseas, and then now they build their family, they've got people depending on them here. So they still carry the scars of the
We respect what you say, Sister
I
Pam,
agree.
but it's the same time too. Me interview a man. Me and Sister Rosie talked before me interview that man. And seem like what Vera said a little while, because I never expected. Sister Rose mentioned it, but I never expected. And when me interview that man tell me, seem like you said, Vera, him tell me one little story, say him come here and him never seen a problem. I said, whoa. May I try this? May I try stir a discussion out time? Him say, me say then, you know, no Irish, no blacks, no that. You never seen none of that? I hear about it, but me never see none.
It's denial. It's denial.
It is a denial. It is a not dealing with the reality. It is a fear of.
And the sad reality is that we're here, we're like the product, if you like, we are the next generation of the Windrush, and there is still a gap there in terms of what really happened. Because I did a radio interview a few months ago, and one of the presenters actually said, you know, do a presentation around the Windrush, talk to the Windrush surviving people, so to get the real story.
Yeah.
To get the real story, because you know there's a lot of stuff that is written, you know, in books and stuff, which isn't entirely true. Talk to them direct, get the real story. Even still, there's that resistance. So what is the real story?
The resistance, but you got to remember, right? Remember, when they arrived, what do you think their biggest fear was? One of their biggest fear was being sent back home. So they didn't want to do anything to jeopardize that. And now that fear is back again, because they are sending people home, people that have been here for 60 odd years, they're sending them back home. So now, again, they're not going, there's that fear to say what the reality is, because they don't want to be sent back home.
All that thought, let me ask Barry Dan. You have any?
Yeah. You said in 1948, people was invited from the Caribbean to come here and go to the UK to build up. We still build in the UK. Windrush Generation still build in the UK. Never stop. And they've been treated very bad. And if you notice, we still got an MP, I think it's Tottenham MP, that constantly fighting for, what would you call it, for the Windrush generation, all the way. He's constantly fighting because the Windrush generation, been shortened big time. Been shortened big time, and they're still trying to deport people. Cities are supposed to be sitting as the citizens of the UK. They're still trying to deport them. They just won't get something on them, any little thing.
Little minor thing.
Some little minor misdemeanor thing to put them on a plane and send them back to Jamaica.
Even driving offenses. Richie?
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with anything what anyone said, you know. We are part of the Windrush generation. We're all members, you know. We've all lived here most of our lives, or all of us, you know. But we have to thank those who came to ourselves, and I like to think we've made a valuable contribution to society in this country through music, through sport, politics. Our forefathers suffered hard times. They lived here to tell the tale, and we have to, you know, try and think they had it tough. We're kind of going through it tough as well still, even in our generation. But you know, we're here, and we should be, you know, looking at the positives that we have brought to this society for England, you know, through music, through its culture. I mean, the problems that I saw in terms of housing, which they suffered, even, you know, trying to get places, and what you said before, not allowing people in the house, not black people in the property. So sad, and it still happens today. We're trying to overcome it. Yeah, overcoming it.
Yeah. So you know, in schools they've got Shakespeare, World War I and II, and many more things that take place in this country. Do you think that the Windrush Generation story should be on the school's curriculum?
Absolutely. You couldn't finish the sentence quick enough. Absolutely, I do. I do, but I do because I think that is, you know, it's a historical thing. And not just the negatives, there's a lot of positives. Well,
oh yeah,
trying to think of the positives that have come out of the Windrush. Yeah, because it's paved the way, innit? We're here, we're existing, we're doing stuff we can achieve if we're the legacy basically, and the legacy lives on, doesn't it?
If you're talking about the history of Britain, we are part of the history of Britain.
We're part of the history. We're part of the history of the Windrush. Just like all Battle of Hastings 1066, them have them history, right? We have our history, and we have to continue with that history. And I think that's positive, and we have to hand that down.
Yes, because it's 73 years. And there's a lot of things that the Caribbean, the Windrush generation has done for this country. So I too believe that it and slavery, that should be on the school's curriculum. Vera, you have any thought on that?
Well, yes, yes, I do, Rosie. Windrush Day, for viewers that are watching from all over the world, is the 22nd of June. The 22nd of June. And go on Google, research it. Research what Windrush is about, how people were invited from the Caribbean to come over and make Britain great. One of the things that came out of the interviews, even though some people were resisting to tell us their real story, you know, in fact, they were telling us this real story after the cameras, after the interviews were shut down. One of the questions we asked them was, do you think that you made a good contribution, or people from the Windrush generation made a valuable contribution to making Great Britain what it is? And they all said yes.
Of course.
All of them said yes. And they all were very positive about that. And that was really positive to hear that.
As Michelle just said, the NHS, the foundation of the NHS has been built on immigrants. I can personally say that my mother's a nurse. She came over here as a nurse, you know. Public services were obliterated during the war, and we were invited to come over here, and we went into public services, bus driving, transportation, nursing. So if all those jobs are made available, which they wanted us to come over, we accepted those jobs. We helped rebuild Britain. So definitely, should be in the
Respect, Richard.
Respect. Pamela.
I feel that they were not only robbed, I think that they were tricked as well, because a lot of them, as said before, they were promised the citizenship when they arrived automatically, but a lot of them weren't given official documents. And then years later, what happens? Jamaica, I can't speak for the other islands, but Jamaica was given its independence. So what does that mean for those that didn't get official English British citizenship papers? It meant that they were now independent. So what happens then years and years later to now when they're able to deport them? If you got no documents, you're not British. And what is Jamaica? Independent. So bye-bye. So a lot of them, I feel that they were tricked as well as robbed. I think they were tricked.
Yeah, but although Jamaica got independent, the Queen was still head of the country.
Yes,
so
that is the head of state.
So if we're still in the Commonwealth and the Queen's still head of our country, we consider we should be citizen too.
But without the official documents, what does the passport say? Jamaican.
Yeah. I'm sure we had this conversation some time ago, you know, and about Jamaican independence.
Simeon.
Yeah.
Have anything?
Well, we have too much to say for this show, to be honest. Because, you see, first things first, when we was interviewing that elderly man, I said, you are our teachers. Them is our teachers. And
that's
yet
what I said. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that run deep. Trust me, I say it lightly, but it run deep. They are our teachers.
They
right?
are.
And yet to date, it's like Vera said, me come back to that point. It's like the man fear to say certain things.
It's true.
The man even say something about, I have to care for me talk, and me word it correctly. Because I don't want to embarrass it. Although me is a man who can tell him straight, but I don't want him talk about somebody to do with himself. Make me word it like that. And him say they might hear. And I say, whoa. And you know what the funny thing is? That person dead.
Oh, wow.
Trust me, me not make it up.
Oh, wow.
But his wife still lives. And she never treat him right. So I said to myself, but it's like them fear. And you see that part where them said that, did you, what was it? Do you think that we, you know, progress the country? Him say yes, because, and this is the only time he kind of slightly talk against.
Yeah.
When him say, yes, because they never want we to get, that was the truth of talking, but him talk it some minimal. Him say them, because the white man never want we to get no babe and some, and him just cut it like that and swing back into something else. It's like that fear. And that trouble me, to be honest, that fear. It's like them can't speak the truth. Them can't speak it, as Vera said, Zico while. Can him do it to me too, off camera. Because him not understand the YouTube thing and this and that. So them fear say, oh, I go hear this. You know what I mean?
That's what the fear is. Who's going to hear it? Where is this information going? But we want to hear, we want to know that. We want to hear their experiences.
The truth.
Yeah,
the truth.
Yeah, because I was gonna get this gentleman to speak to us about what he faced, because he came here on the Windrush Empire. And he was speaking so fluent about what he'd been through, the Teddy Boys, the housing crisis, you know, all of them things. And when I asked him, would you be able to give me an interview so we can put it on Jamlish? He said no. And the problem that I have with all this, people who've been held back, who had been muzzled, who had been traumatized about what they've been through. There's no need to fear. It's about how you feel, what you've been through. No one can kill you for that.
But the thing is, if they come to this country and they didn't have the support, or nobody asked them how they feel, there was no sort of, you know, nothing set up, you know what I mean? So that, you know, no place for them to go to. I mean, they had each other, and that's hence living with each other in you know, houses and whatnot, 2-3 families. But if there was no one there or no representation for them back then, yes, the man in Tottenham, he's fighting for that. But if there was nobody back then who do they go to? Who, you know what I mean? And there was that fear that they were, you know, the white man was superior to them, so they felt away. Well, they felt away.
Yeah.
You know,
I do feel though that I think a lot of them fear being sent back if they speak out, because they've seen what's happened to a lot of other people. They've seen what's happened to somebody who was born of, say, a Jamaican mother, right? And they were born here, but they get sent back to a country that they know nothing about.
True.
Never been there. Or if they've been, they went once.
Big man in them 30s and 40s.
Yes, yeah.
Have been
There
sent
was an
back to the
actor.
country. They left when they were 1 year old or 2 year old, and they're having to go back there. They deport them back there. You know what I mean? And they don't know anything about being in Jamaica and that. I probably know more about Jamaica than some of them kids that were born there.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
You get me? You know what I mean?
I think that's why they're scared. They're scared. They're scared to speak out.
What some things that was portrayed is as if the people, the Windrush generation, came here off nothing. Some of these people from my research, clips, watching clips, reading on Google, wherever I can get clips and articles to read. Most of these people came here already educated, engineers, nurses, teachers, you know, have their houses built,
people. Yeah.
you know, have so much lands, have whatever. And they came here, like one of you said, as a third-class citizen. And that angers me because they were invited here, yes, to rebuild this country, invited and enticed.
And the excuse was, oh, you can't convert that. My auntie came here, and she was a teacher in Jamaica, and she came to this country, and she couldn't teach because a lot of the excuse was, oh, you couldn't convert the qualification to British standard, so you have to retrain and whatever. You come here and you got a family and money to send back, and that. Oh, you're gonna retrain. Oh, you're gonna find that money
again. Yeah.
And you're already trained. You're already a trained nurse. You're already a trained, you know what I mean? You're ready to train up. And so that was a big issue. Education and employment in terms of that. Right? They come, you know, they've had their jobs and then they come to this country and settled for maybe auxiliary or porter or, you know what I mean? You know, not what they're qualified to do, not, you know, only overqualified for jobs.
Yeah. After seeing how the Windrush generation had been through decades of mental, physical, and emotional torture, do you think that it is one of the causes that triggers illnesses on them?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
And then Pitney too, yeah.
They had nowhere to go for help.
It can go further than them.
Mentally.
Yes.
Mentally, you see those people sit down on streets, no shoes, begging, hair on it, and you're like, where was your help? Who helped you? There was no one to help them. And we are guilty of walking past these people and looking at them and say, look at you, look at what she's, because we don't know their story.
Not understanding.
We don't know what they've been going through.
And not just that, even the ones that actually, you know, that look okay mentally, self-esteem, self-hatred. There is so much self-hatred within our people because of years and years of being told that we are less because of the color of our skin. You know, it's self-esteem, self-confidence. Oh no, I'm not going to bother going for that job because they've already told me. They told me so many times that, you know, you haven't got the right qualifications. You don't fit the role.
I'm not good enough.
Okay,
I'm not good enough.
Fill out this form. And it goes down, like Simon says, it goes down to us with that form that they have, where you have to fill it out because we're monitoring equal opportunities. And on the form you have white British, you have white Irish, then you have black Caribbean, black everything apart from black British. So what does that do to us? That again is a form that's saying, oh, actually you're not really important. You don't qualify for any of these things. So what do we tick? So it, like Simon says, it goes right the way down.
Yeah. But I tick other. And I'll put black British.
At all. I don't complete it until I see.
I used to put human being.
I don't click. I don't.
Yeah, but you see, that's the individual, the majority. What does the majority see? Is the majority, you know?
Well, yeah, you know, financially, it's not been good for us as black people. You know, when you've had low-paid jobs and you're trying to build for your family, and then trying to buy houses and stuff, and being economic, and then all the stress that will cause you, you know, and it's just going to carry through you for all your life, really. And there's been no support, as we said, you know. There was nothing there at the start when they came here. They were given low-paid jobs, trying to support, and we're still having the effects now, even, as you say, 50, 60 years down the line. So it's still definitely affecting us, definitely.
Yeah, somebody said it passed down to the children, and I totally believe, because you see,
you don't have a foundation.
They started to bring out things like equal opportunities policies and this, that, the other, because some of some of the fortunate Black nurses, if you like, Black professionals, did manage to, you know, climb the ladder, because they brought, in the 70s, they brought out Equal Opportunity, Race Relation Act and all of that, you know, so, but it was still just, you know, out of 100 white people, there was one Black person. It was tokenistic. They were strategically placed there to show that they are adhering to their equal opportunities policies and stuff like that, you know, but in terms of even like us, I'm sure we've had problems in the workplace, in employment, in training, in education.
Oh, yes, definitely.
You know what I mean? And that's affected our health. So it's been passed down. A lot of us in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and that suffer with high blood pressure, stress, diabetes. You know what I mean?
The way I see it, we was just, the Windrush generation was just invited here. Come on, build our country and get the hell out of it.
And get the hell out.
Yeah.
Don't be a part of it, just build it, get the hell out of it.
Yeah,
take what you make here. If you have any kids here when you were here, take them with you and get out of here. That's why let's keep deporting people from the Windrush generation, because they should be gone long time as far as go.
I'd echo that, Barry. I was watching a documentary as well, and people were saying, why are they still here? You know, they've helped build the country. Why are they still here?
Exactly.
Yeah. Why are they still here?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Well, yes, thank you for your input. I really enjoyed that, and you've passed over some good views, ideas, and the truth.
Fantastic.
I like it.
Nice.
Just Jamlish.
Lovely, Rose. Lovely.
Real talk.
Oh, you like that one?
Wow.
It's making a verse.
Skibo says so. Jamlish, a little real talk with a little bit of Labrish, yeah. Jamlish, them talk real talk, them not talk no foolishness, no way. Jamlish, a little Jamaican wrap up in the English, yeah. Jamlish, the real talk show with a little bit of Labrish. Skibo says so.